Employment, Senator Abetz. Can the minister update the Senate on the current state of workplace relations in Victoria, and are there any threats to harmonious and productive workplaces in Victoria?
Leader of the Government in the Senate, Minister for Employment, Senator Abetz.
Mr President, Victorian workplaces, especially in the construction sector, have benefited from the introduction of the Victorian Construction Code. The industrial anarchy that characterised Victorian projects, such as the notorious Wonthaggi plant, has been removed. However, there is a very significant threat to productive and harmonious workplaces in Victoria. It is the CFMEU-inspired policy of Daniel Andrews to abolish Victoria's construction
Senator
code.
Conroy.
This is the code that upholds the rule of law and saves Victorian taxpayers from the billions of dollars of delays and blowouts that plagued major projects under the last Labor government. The code even includes new drug and alcohol testing requirements to protect building workers and improve workplace safety. Yet Labor's policy is to abolish that too. I wonder why. As former Judge Terence Cole said this week, only a political party enthralled to the building unions would contemplate abolishing the state's building code. Labor's policy is also to oppose the Commonwealth's building code, despite funding for major infrastructure projects being conditional on the code being applied. No code, no funding. So Labor threatens Victoria with a loss of billions of dollars for vital infrastructure projects. This is the cost to Victorians of Daniel Andrews' unseemly association with John Setka and the CFMEU. Daniel Andrews has not only outsourced his policy to the CFMEU, he's now even outsourced his costings to the CFMEU's accountants. And if he's elected on Saturday, he'll outsource the rest of government policy to them as well.
The question has expired. Senator McKenzie, a supplementary question.
Yes, Mr President. Can the minister advise the Senate of any other workplace relation policy proposals that may adversely affect the Victorian community?
Minister.
Another Labor policy is to hand over management of the volunteer-based Country Fire Authority to the Firefighters Union. This power is very serious. It relates to decisions about what are literally life and death matters. These powers should reside with the Chief Fire Officer. What will be the impact of this policy? As the Board of Volunteer Fire Brigades Victoria said in an open letter which I table, Mr President, Labor's policy would have, and I quote, disastrous consequences for CFA. It goes on to say, Labor's policy will reduce CFA's volunteer firefighting force by thousands of volunteers, pushing volunteers out of CFA stations and hundreds of CFA trucks off the road when we need them for major fires such as Black Saturday. This represents a clear risk to the health and safety of Victorians with the advent of a Labor government.
Minister. Senator McKenzie, a final supplementary question.
Yes, Mr President. Can the minister advise the Senate of any threats to public health and safety in Victoria arising from any new workplace relations policies in that state?
Minister.
Labor policy to appease union bosses also involves handing control of Ambulance Victoria to the Paramedics Union. Ambulance Victoria has made a very generous wage offer to the union, including an immediate pay increase of 6%. But the union has rejected it. So what is Daniel Andrews' response? Sack the entire board of Ambulance Victoria and replace it with union stooges. The list of things that Daniel Andrews would sacrifice simply to please Victorian unions is staggering. He would sacrifice health and safety on building sites, billions of dollars in Commonwealth funds for vital infrastructure projects. He would even sacrifice independent management of the state's emergency services, which will put lives at risk. And these are just the deals he has been game to announce before the election. One wonders what secret deals he has made. The health and welfare of Victorians will come last under a Labor government.
Senator Waters.